Are we ready? A1, call to order. A2, adoption of the regular agenda and executive session meeting agenda. Let's see. I call for a motion that we adopt the meeting agenda.
I move that we adopt the regular and executive session meeting agenda.
Thank you, Ms. De Ocampo. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Oropesa. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Moving to B, executive session. I call for a motion that the governing board move into executive session.
I move that we go into executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Oropesa. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill France. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are now in executive session.
I forgot my terminology there. I was like, what are we? I'm. Yeah.
Reconvene. C1, Pledge of Allegiance. Moving to D, information items. D1, financial report. Governing board members, the submitted monthly report provides the district's financial status of the report date February 24th, 2022. Moving to E, E1, public comment. There is no public comment today. Moving to F, consent agenda. I call for a motion that the governing board approves the consent agenda items F2 through F10.
I move that we approve the consent agenda, items F2 through F10.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Oropesa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Moving to G, new business. G1. I call for a motion that the governing board approve the superintendent or designee to provide required legal notice of the public meeting to consider potential school boundary changes and/or school closure. Do I have a motion?
I move that we schedule the legal process. I move that we schedule a legal process for board consideration of potential school boundary changes and/or school closure.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Oropesa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Moving to G2, 2022-2023 recruitment and retention stipend. I call for a motion that the governing board approve the recruitment and retention stipend for the 2022-2023 school year.
I move that we approve the recruitment and retention stipend for the 2022-2023 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Oropesa. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill France. Any discussion?
I just want to commend us for doing this. We hear constantly about stress our employees have been under, and how many of our employees are choosing not to return, and whatever we can do to maintain our highly qualified employees that we respect and who do such a great job of serving us, whether they're the crossing guard or the teacher or the principal. I appreciate that we have managed to fit this into the budget, and we are rewarding those employees for continuing to work with us. That is far cheaper to do that and retain them than it is to train new ones.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Thank you, Ms. De Ocampo. Yes, I completely agree with everything you said. This made me so happy when I saw this. I like the strategic plan of, though, they get their first half this year and then they have to come back to get it the next year. So that's great. I know they deserve so much more, but I just appreciate that you found the money to give them this. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion? Like I'll mention in my governing board comments later, I just want to say thank you to all of our staff who've been resilient during this pandemic. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Moving to G3, 2022-2023 school year classified rehire lists and contracts. I call for a roll call vote that the governing board approve the submitted classified rehire list and contract verbiage for the 2022-2023 school year. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the submitted classified rehire list and contract verbiage for 22-23 year.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill France. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Solorio. We will do a roll call vote.
Mr. Conchas,
Aye.
Ms. De Ocampo, Ms. O'Neill Franz,
Aye.
Mr. Solorio,
Aye.
Mr. Oropesa,
Aye.
to abstain.
Oh.
Mr. Oropesa.
I didn't realize I missed the name. I abstained.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that, Mr. Lopez. I should have let you know.
It's okay. It's a long list.
Sounds great. We're moving to G4, governing board meeting date change. I call for a motion that the governing board approve moving the May 5th, 2022 board meeting to May 12th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I move that we move the governing board meeting scheduled for May 5th to May 12th.
Thank you, Mr. Solorio. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. De Ocampo. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving to H, comments and communication. H1, comments from governing board members.
I would like to comment just simply Mr. Richard Stinnett, principal for Alhambra Traditional, let his parents know in a letter today that he'll be retiring from the position of principal at ATS, and I just want to give him my thanks for the position that he's held. He's done an absolute excellent job. I've been able to observe him. I have several kids there at ATS, and when Mr. Eastlis hired him 5 years ago, he found a very excellent and worthy principal for that school. He's done an excellent job there, and he will leave a large shadow to fill. And so I'm sure the time will come at the end of the year that we'll once again give him our thanks, but I just want to appreciate his service.
Thank you.
I came over on 21st, to the district office when we were having a COVID clinic, because I was thinking, who in their right mind is going to have a clinic on a day when it's a holiday? But in your right mind, you were very thoughtful because it was a crowd over here. I was very impressed by how many families were there, how many students, young children of obviously the right age, were getting their vaccinations. And I think it was a great strategy that we provided that service to our community on a day when they could come and get their vaccines. Thank you. Oh, one other thing. Thank you to all the people who put all the work into not only recruitment and retention stipends, but also that whole salary schedule that we approved last week. I know how much work you put into all of that, and thank you for finding the money, supporting our staff that way.
I just want to wish everybody a happy spring break. I hope you guys take time to take care of your well-being. And again, as I've always said, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So please make sure you take care of number one first, and then you can take care of everybody else.
Please excuse my lengthy comments today. We have a spring break in the middle, so we won't be meeting for a few weeks. I want to acknowledge those in our Alhambra community who have passed away this month. It really hurts my heart every time that we receive a We Care notification. Those names include Natalia Garcia, Bruce McDonald, and Susan G. Varela. Some updates. We had, of course, everyone knows it's Read Across America Week, and this week, so I encourage all of our Alhambra community to pick up a book this week, and let's work on increasing our literacy skills. A funny story actually that I learned today is Dr. Myers and myself were both at Target at 2 different times, and we picked up the same book. And it's All Because You Matter by Tammy Charles and illustrated by Brian Collier. So really excited to see all of the social media posts and the board bulletin about all the great things that are happening across our district. I've been knocking on doors in the district and talking with families about their experiences with our schools and have received some very positive feedback. And I want to give a shout out to the team at Carol G. Peck because everyone I talked to had nothing but great things to say about them. Another thing is that the Girls Innovation Academy learners participated in a competition called Feeding the Future, and the recipe, research, execution, and presentation earned them first place in the middle school category. And a special thanks to Chef Dina Altieri for volunteering her time to mentor these young ladies. And we also have Principal Kim here in the audience today. So congratulations. Barcelona's two days on 2/2/22 looked extra fun, and I'm very sad that I missed the Cupid Shuffle dance on that day. And the aggregate expenditure limit has been overridden for this school year, and we narrowly avoided a $12 million catastrophe. Thank you to the superintendent's office, our legal team, my fellow governing board members, Representative Solorio, for doing everything possible to advocate for that override. We all know that getting 2/3 of the legislature to agree on something is not easy. And my final message has to do with COVID and the pandemic. My fellow governing board members, Superintendent Mayes, Ms. Bilyeu, Ms. Gonzalez, and the entire Alhambra family. We're coming upon the 2-year anniversary of closing our campuses to in-person learning as we started to understand the magnitude of the COVID-19 pandemic. In these past 2 years, we have learned a lot and have experienced immense hardship and resilience. There have been many tears, many hard conversations, and a lot of uncertainty and anxiety as we managed the spread of the virus. Thank you to our teachers and our support staff for your leadership and sacrifice during these difficult times. We also hold in our hearts the members of our community who have died because of COVID-19. Every single member of the Alhambra team stepped up to keep our learners safe, their families safe, and our workplace environment safe. We have mobilized resources to every classroom site in the district. We have provided PPE, updated our HVAC system, set up healthy teaching and learning protocols, hired new medical staff, provided stipends, created 2 permanent testing sites, hosted frequent vaccine clinics, created new outside learning spaces, and so much more. We even opened our AOA online academy. This is just a short list of things that have been done to work through this pandemic. I'm excited that we are now able to host after-school activities and in-person events on campus. We are not out of the clear just yet as we still work to help our learners achieve maximum proficiency in reading, writing, and math. We must also continue to protect one another from another surge in positive cases by washing our hands, maintaining distance, wearing a mask, getting a vaccine when eligible, and testing regularly. We have made it this far 2 years later because of the love you all have shown for public education and for our community. Let's continue to work together to maintain a safe learning environment for all students. Thank you. Now moving to the next item on the agenda, which is governing board direction and/or agenda item requests. Okay, hearing none, moving to H3, comments from superintendent and executive team.
Good evening, everyone. We will begin our updates this evening with Ms. Melissa Gonzalez.
Good evening, Governing Board President, Mr. Conchas, Governing Board members, and Dr. Mayes. We have some great things starting to happen now that we have lifted up some of our COVID mitigation protocols. We are getting signed up for field trips. So we have some schools going to the Arizona Science Center. We have a school, our GIA team, going to, I don't know if I'll say this right, Taliesin West Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation. So they're going to go out there and really apply what they've been learning through project-based learning into that environment. So very excited. On the other side of the fun, the academics, which are still fun, we are ramping up for our state testing. We just finished our SAFT testing, which was a writing field test. So we have just wrapped that up. Arizona science testing will begin not the week we come back, but the week after. And then in April, followed up by all of our other testing for the high stakes standards. So schools are getting ready. They're getting lots of support from the district. And so we're just eager to see how much academic recovery our students were able to capture this year. Thank you.
Good evening, President Conchas, members of the board, Dr. Mayes. We are very pleased on the operations side of across the district to announce the groundbreaking of our new gym that's located serving the students Gap and Bullet. The ceremony will be held on March 31st, and we're in the process of final guest list, save the date, and formal invitation to follow. We are also, speaking of bond dollars, we are in, the third phase of that bond sale, and the remaining funds after will be allocated to 3 sites that have not received bond dollars. Mr. Guzman is to support the sites in the choices that land in a space of 21st century learning opportunities, spaces for our kids. And once we have criteria, we are also in the process of working on to expand our preschool programming with the exciting news of more opportunities from the federal government. The Childhood Education Expansion Grant and High Quality Early Learning Grant are both places that we have about, and the team is looking at how those expansion opportunities will support our vision for least restrictive environment for all of our preschool learners. So we're super excited about the opportunities that live there, what that will mean for every young our campuses. Over spring break, if you drive by, you'll notice that the parking lot is getting a facelift. The project will take place over spring break and may incapacitate our parking for a bit, but our employees are very happy, as are our heels, that the parking lot will not be rocky. So that will be happening over spring break and when you come back after spring break. And then on behalf of the Alhambra Education Partnership Board, I wanted to let you know that we will be hosting our 5th annual golf coming up soon and promises to be an awesome event. So save the date for May 5th. Again, guest list being created. Save the date and formal invitation to follow.
Thank you both. And then I just wanted to add to your updates and share a huge congratulations to our GAP, our Global Academy. There, they received news yesterday that they passed authorization. And so they get to remove that term candidate and are now an IB World School. And so they celebrated this morning. Really proud of everyone and their hard work there at GAP. And then the other thing I wanted to share, I was really proud of our Healthy Teaching and Learning team. Michael Rivera came and shared our data this afternoon with me, and we're familiar with seeing red. That we are in. Yes, that we know that we've been in high transmission for quite some time now. And what I appreciated seeing today was that Alhambra, with all the other districts around us still in red, the hard work of our team, knowing that, again, kids, we have, over 10,000 children in our district, and we know how children love to spread germs. And so we've been keeping them safe and with our mitigation, and we are the only school district in our area that, again, Madison is over there, but right in the center and all around us is red, and we have moved to substantial, from high transmission to substantial transmission. And so I know our team was collaborating with the county today and are looking forward to making other recommendations as we continue to let the data guide our decisions. So again, great work, and we're very grateful for our team. Other than that, we appreciate the hard work of everyone. I appreciate our governing board for their support of our team, knowing everyone's been working really hard. And so I'm excited to share the news regarding the retention and recruitment stipend, and we will continue to work and provide the highest quality of education for our precious children. So thank you all and have a wonderful evening.
Moving to I, meeting closing. I1, upcoming governing board meetings. We will meet on March 24th, 2022. There will be an executive session beginning at 5 p.m. and the regular meeting beginning at 6 p.m. We'll have a regular board meeting at 6 p.m. on April 7th and a regular board meeting at 6 p.m. on April 21st. Moving to I2, calendar of events. As Ms. Bell, you mentioned, there will be a groundbreaking gymnasium ceremony happening at 10 a.m. at GAP in Valencia on March 31st, 2022. We hope to see all of you there. Moving to I3, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Solorio. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Oropesa. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Meeting adjourned.